So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Hey guys, quick disclaimer for this podcast episode. I say Paul Dini's name probably close to, I'm gonna guess 20 times, and every time I say it, please erase it and then replace Bruce Timm in your mind, because I definitely got those two confused. Sorry guys. Anyway, on to the podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Who Talks First. And
Yeah, we're here.
Are you gonna talk first this time?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna talk first this time. I think I'm gonna take main point. This is solo Grayson, and
I am Courtney.
And we just watched The Killing Joke, or as I like to call it, a steaming pile of shit!
There you go, it's been 10 seconds and you clipped.
I told you it was gonna happen. Alright, so first let's refer to my notes, and
What your notes
hold
are.
on, my notes. Alright, ASMR for y'all. My notes say sack of shit.
Okay, to be fair, we went into this movie a little biased.
Yeah.
Thinking it was gonna be a stack of shit.
It's true, it did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint.
We definitely were like, it's a piece of shit. This movie's... Alright, it's a piece of shit. Do we want to talk about Barbara first? Just her character as a whole?
Yeah.
In this movie?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what The Killing Joke is for those of you who don't know.
Okay, yeah, so The Killing Joke is, as many people know, maybe you don't know, it's a story about when the Joker, paralyzes Barbara Gordon. He shoots her, and she becomes paralyzed, and that's her origin into becoming Oracle, which happened for a long time, and then they retconned it, and she's not like that anymore. But that's what it is. It's also like a Joker origin story.
Yes.
So, there's that.
Yeah, so that's what The Killing Joke is, and it's pretty infamously known for being extremely dark.
Yes, it's definitely
and it's got
one
a lot
of
of like critical acclaim for being unbelievably dark. So we were expecting a certain level of darkness that it definitely did achieve at points, but they definitely changed some stuff up.
Yes, they changed some things.
And whoever thought they changed it for the better,
and they were a fucking idiot.
This
is
podcast
a rated
is very
R.
explicit.
This is gonna be a rated R podcast.
The podcast is, well, the source material was also rated R.
Yes, so I mean, if you're offended by swearing and you've watched The Killing Joke, I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about Barbara.
Changes in Barbara. Hold on, let me look at my notes.
Note tapping so you know it's there.
Well, first of all, we wrote down a marker right here. This is when we had to pause and talk to each other. At 22 minutes and 56 seconds, we paused it and we were like, has Barbara ever, one, been portrayed as a character that wasn't a sex object, or two, had any dialogue that did not have to do with a male character? The answer was no.
No.
No. She is constantly put on this, like, gross sexual pedestal by one of the main bad guys.
Which one of the things, he's supposed to be a really skeezy guy, so I get that, but the fact that Barbara really had no other redeeming qualities to any of the male characters, you didn't see the characters being skeezy at that point. You got mad at like, we talked about this, like, I'm mad at the writers, not the character.
Yeah.
He's a skeezy guy, so that what he's saying makes sense, but Barbara literally has nothing else going for her character besides everyone sees her as a sexual object.
Everyone, except for, I guess, the gay guy, but all he's interested in is she having sex with the man she's seeing at the time, which is Batman.
Yeah, so, Barbara has, like, a gay best friend in it who, like, works at the library.
But again, they only talk about her having sex or not having sex.
Yeah.
So, no. I don't even think, at 22:56, I don't even think she'd spoken to her father yet. I think she doesn't speak to her father until later when they're having their father-daughter time.
Oh yeah, till right before the Killing Joke actually happens.
Yes. She does not interact with anyone without sex being involved somehow.
Yeah.
Until she's right about to be paralyzed.
Until right before the big thing happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Barbara, who in most Batman universes is more of, like, the student, and Batman is more of the mentor character.
In, like, every iteration, because she's essentially a female Robin.
Yeah.
It's always, she's a sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
She's a sidekick. She's probably always a little bit more independent than Robin is, but she's definitely still a sidekick to Batman.
Yep.
And, they decided that they were gonna spice things up because it was rated R. And Barbara and Batman decide that they're going to have sex.
So they're going to do the diddly.
And this is right after, I believe, if I'm remembering right, Batman had just been on a pedestal and was like, I'm going to preach at you about things and your emotions and blah, blah, blah. Getting self-righteous, getting very Batman. Mm-hmm. That's a very Batman thing to do. You're like, yeah, Batman, you're scolding. Because you're like, honor and gotta keep your emotions in check and you can't let things blah, 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 blah. But when Barbara's like, I'm gonna get on top of you and we're gonna have sex, Batman is like, yeah, sure, okay.
Grabbed her butt.
He like, I'm gonna hesitate for a half a second, and then you know what, we're gonna do it.
It just doesn't...
Which is the most anti-Batman thing I think I have ever seen.
I can't believe that this was, like, one of the changes that they made. Like...
They were just like, it's rated R, let's do it.
And I would also... I don't even want to say I would understand it under any context, but I'm like, if it had anything to do with the story at all...
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, they could work it out somehow. It didn't. There was no point for it whatsoever.
None. It did not make you like Barbara more. It did not make you feel for Barbara more. It did not make me care about Barbara more.
It didn't make me feel like Batman cared more or cared less for her.
Nope. In fact, I'm pretty sure he just didn't give a shit about her at all.
Yeah.
Is the impression I got. He was like, yeah, you know what, let's have sex. Then ignored her. And then when she gets paralyzed, he doesn't really even care then.
No,
he's there.
I was waiting when they're at the end of the movie for him to mention Barbara at all. Doesn't. It doesn't.
Doesn't happen.
That really surprised me. I'm like, in the end, this is supposed to be Barbara's story in a way, and from the second she's paralyzed on, she's out. She's basically out of the story. She has her bit, or not her bit, but like she's brought back up when Gordon's being like tortured.
Yeah.
But Batman does not bring her up with the Joker at all.
Nope.
Which
he's not like, what you did was like, I'm gonna like beat you for what you did or anything. He's just like, nah. God.
I'm gonna try to...
Didn't do anything. He cared more about what happened to Jason and Red Hood.
Yeah. Well, and, to be perfectly honest, he cared more about redeeming the Joker.
Yeah, I know he did. Oh my god. The end of the movie, so confusing. The Batman and the Joker have the most, like, intimate moments.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm very confused.
Yes.
I'm so confused. What you're writing right now, I think, is the chemistry that you wanted Barbara and Batman to have in the beginning of the movie.
But you just wrote a Batman and Joker.
Instead, you just wrote, like, a Batman-Joker love story, and this is why people ship this.
Right here. Were they appeasing those fans the whole time?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe Paul Dini? No, it wasn't Paul Dini. It was Bruce Timm that worked on this one. Because we know that Bruce Timm does have he does like Barbara and Bruce together, because in Batman Beyond, Barbara and Bruce mention at a time that they've been together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Batman Beyond, and we always assume that happened later in their lives, which is something that I would totally be behind as long as it was later on in their lives. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But where they are at the story, where she's like a young 20-something, right? Was that probably how old do you think she is?
So. Either way, the way they communicate with each other is very much like father-daughter, student-teacher.
Batman says it. We're partners, but we're not equals.
Exactly.
Okay, well, if you're not equals, then why are you having sex with her? Because you know you have more power than her. Mm-hmm. This is a gross student-teacher or boss-subordinate level.
And it actually could have, like, we were just talking about this, too. It could have been, like, a really good moment for Batman to really... He does mention it, but, like, reject Barbara because of it.
And that would have made me feel way better, like, way worse for Barbara.
Because that's a little more relatable.
Yeah.
And
if she was like, so, I think I have feelings for you, and if Bruce would have turned around and been like, exactly what the gross guy is doing to you, putting you on a pedal and idolizing you, you're doing to me. And you think that you have feelings for me, but you don't, and...
You idolize me, it wouldn't be healthy.
Yeah. You're confusing, like, attraction for, like, idolizing and, like, looking up to me, right? Like...
And she also sort of mentions the only reason that she became Batgirl is because of her infatuation with Batman.
Which is bullshit, because
Look at your notes!
Every time! I have never read a single Batgirl origin story that wasn't this, where she goes, I want to be a cop like my dad.
Yep.
But my dad won't let me be a cop because we live in a crazy town and he doesn't want me getting hurt. So, I noticed that Batman is doing some stuff and he's able to keep his anonymity. So, I'm gonna do what he did. So yeah, it's always been a little bit about, like, idolizing Batman, but it was mostly because she idolized her father and wanted to be able to help her father and try to save Gotham like her father did.
That, like, she wanted to help people. She wasn't just infatuated with Batman and wanted to get closer to him.
Yeah, no, it's always been about her and her father.
Yeah, and then we go on from that point where Batman's in trouble. Barbara comes and kind of saves the day, but she takes things too far with the skeezy guy, Paris Franz.
Oh yeah, Paris Franz.
It took me a while to get that joke. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's funny." I'm like, "Wait, I don't get it." But haha, Paris Franz.
Paris Franz.
So she's like wailing on him.
Mm-hmm.
Then has a moment where she kind of is like, "I took this too far."
She's like,
Oops, my bad. And then a couple scenes later, she turns in the Batgirl suit, and she's like...
after they have sex, right?
Well, they had sex
They had sex
that.
first, that's right. Right.
And then she turns in the Batgirl suit. But it's after she goes through these, like, daily things where she's kind of heartbroken and seeing these, like, romantic people.
Oh.
And blah,
she's
blah,
the two
blah.
people kissing on the street, and she, like, gets all sad and walks away from the window.
So she... Under that context, when she goes and tells Batman she's not going to be Batgirl anymore, it definitely seems like it's because Batman doesn't feel the same way about her. Instead of, like, with me, that's what I immediately thought.
Yeah,
I was like...
We had to pause and discuss.
Yeah, and Megan, like, you were saying, you can explain it.
Yeah. I was like, no, I think what they're trying to go for, obviously it was not presented right if you were reading it wrong. What Barbara, and then she kind of says it a little bit, she's doing it because she went too far. Mm-hmm. And she knows that she can't reel herself in anymore because she had a taste of that darkness, blah, blah, blah. But because there was poor directing, and you show all these, like, heartbreaking scenes beforehand to make Barbara more relatable and for you to feel sorry for Barbara, it looks like she's turning in the suit because she's like, oh, Batman doesn't love me. Like, then I can't
all
be
of her
Batgirl.
Interactions, like, even there's just, like, a simple reaction with her seeing this couple fighting on the street. And this couple wasn't physically going at her or anything. It was just this girl being like, I'm trying my best for you. I'm
trying to be who you want me to be.
And the guy being like, you're being really clingy, I just need my space. And so obviously that's something Batgirl relates to, and that's her current situation, so she chucks this guy into the bush. And it's very clear it's not because she's trying to protect this woman.
Nope, it's because
she's mad at Batman.
And she's insecure, and
she's relating
like,
to that moment. She's like, this is what I want to do to Batman right
Here's
now.
your space.
There you go.
Again, another line where she never... It's directed towards the man and about a man. She never has anything that doesn't have to do with the man. Even the second she comes out of her, like, coma thing... Granted, this is her father, but the second she comes out of the coma, she's like, my dad, my dad, my dad, my dad. Which, again, that's her father.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm like, yeah, okay.
Like, he is a character-driven thing for her, so, like...
Yes.
Or, like, a driving force for her character.
I will excuse that, but every other line in the movie she had, where she thinks that it's flattering that Paris Franz is, like, infatuated with her and doing all this stuff to get her attention, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Women do not find that flattering.
Never.
I'm going to speak as somebody who is a woman.
Yes.
That line, I mean, I know I'm probably going to alienate a lot of people with this, but that line was written by a man.
Absolutely.
To think that Barbara, let alone any woman, is like, well, this crazy murderer guy thinks I'm pretty. What's wrong with that? It's flattering. Like, that's... I know that's what certain people would want you to think.
But it's not.
But it's not.
I don't know as a sane, rational woman who would think that.
Well, again, and then Batman's like, it's not flattering.
Oh.
And he does, and then, but again, that's when you want to be like, then this is a father-daughter dynamic.
Yes.
Because he is teaching her these things. Because in that moment, she seems very young.
Yes.
Because she's not a teenager, but young girls, like, might be flattered that she's getting attention, even though She wouldn't be, but...
Even though she wouldn't be, and she's way too old for that, and it makes no sense for Barbara Gordon as a character. But, yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe a young girl would think that.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know any better.
And then Batman comes in with the dad, voice of reason, being like,
That's not healthy.
That's not healthy.
That's not healthy, and that's not good, and no.
Yeah. There you go.
Drives me crazy.
Oh
this movie drives me crazy. And then we flash into the Joker's origin story, and another woman's on the screen.
So there's, like, I think 4 women in this movie, which will...
One is
Barbara.
One is Barbara. One is the woman on the street
the
fighting
prostitutes. I forgot about the prostitutes.
Oh, the prostitutes that have to dress up like Batgirl. There's the fat lady. There's the Siamese twins. And then there's Joker's ex-wife.
Yes.
That's pretty much all of them. Oh, and the secretary for a hot second.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, in terms of characters that...
Have names,
or...
Jeannie?
Jeannie was the wife.
Jeannie and Barbara. I think those are the only 2 named.
Oh, but don't forget Colleen, her friend that was going to work out with her.
Who never came.
Don't forget Colleen. Yeah. Hashtag save Colleen.
I don't know
if Colleen, I don't remember but she
saved Barbara.
Yeah, there you go. If her name was Colleen.
I do think her name was Colleen.
Right.
I think you're right.
Nailed it. Perfect.
10 out of 10. But the only 2 named females in this movie, one is Jeannie, which is Joker's ex-wife, mother of his child. They're having the conversation where Joker is a failed comedian. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm a loser, and blah, blah, blah. She's like, nah, it's okay, I love you, 'cause you fuck good.
That's, 'cause you're good in the sack.
'Cause you're good in the sack, and you
line.
Yeah, 'cause you're good in the sack, and you
pregnant.
make me laugh. Yeah, she's pregnant. We know they have sex.
We know they have sex.
We know they have sex.
You couldn't have, like, that line was completely unnecessary.
It was like...
Besides to make it edgy and raunchy. But that moment, like, was so out of place.
That entire scene was... All the flashback scenes were awfully directed. Like, they were so painful.
They were so unbelievably slow, and they were talking to us like we were 4-year-olds and couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
When Megan's more into comic books than I am, and so she knows more of these origin stories than I do. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know the origin story of the Joker going into it. I assumed it was probably similar to Harley's, and I know at one point Harley's, like, origin story was she also fell into a...
Yeah, that's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, a vat of acid.
Because it's supposed to mirror exactly the Joker's, yeah.
And so I'm going into this as a person who doesn't really know his backstory, and I'm like, okay, I put together what's gonna happen 3 cutscenes ago.
Yeah.
And you're still explaining it to me like I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And this is an R-rated movie. If this was intended for children, maybe I would be like...
If this was a child's cartoon...
I can see why it's taking them so long. But, also, I just need a rant about, that's because that's who we are.
Yeah.
The Knights of Rant.
Knights of Rant. Let's go on a tangent.
If people are ever like, you're too ranty in your podcast, I'll be like, what's the channel name? Please.
You knew going in what this was gonna be.
You knew exactly. When Joker finds out that his wife died.
Oh my god. And he doesn't react at all. He's just like, the officer told me to have another drink before I head over there.
So, yeah, he's with the mafia guys, and who seemed like they had something to do with his wife dying, to be honest.
Yeah.
They seemed to know a little bit, maybe.
Or at the very least, they were worried that he was going to be a snitch.
Yeah.
At the very least, they're like, did you call the cops to snitch on us? One of the 2 things, because they were very suspicious about the conversation.
Yeah, that whole thing was... They seemed like they knew something or suspected something. But, so, the Joker is being pulled out of the bar that they're sitting in, planning this big heist thing. And you see him get the news, and he just looks sad, and the police officers walk away, and he walks back in, and he sits back down on the table, and just goes, my wife she died in a freak accident. And he sounds like maybe he found out that a goldfish died, like, or a pet that
he didn't really care about. It was his kid's pet. He was like, that kind of sucks.
Dang, that sucks. It's gonna be a rough couple days.
Yeah,
and
but
then
I'll get over it. And then not only your wife, his wife, and unborn child
are dead.
Dead.
And then the officer, then the Joker, he's not the Joker yet. He's still a human.
Yeah.
says that the officer told him to go back inside the bar and have another drink before he goes to the hospital. Which, first of all, if I died and an officer told my husband...
Yeah. Go have a drink.
Go have a drink. Like, what?
Yeah, right?
One, like, he could be in shock, but he didn't even seem like he was in shock. He was...
Also, I have a question.
Yes. Potential answer if I paid attention enough.
Didn't the Joker say that it was something like she was heating up a bottle or something?
She was testing out.
Oh, she was testing it. Okay, because I was like, because they said that baby didn't come for 3 more months, so why was she doing that? But okay, she was testing it.
She was testing it out.
I guess why is she testing it out 3 months ahead of time?
She's bored. She has nothing else to do.
I guess.
Test out some.
I mean,
bottle warmers.
She got no milk for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the mafia people are like, they're not even intimidating really afterwards. Like, what I would have loved that scene is for them to really threaten. They do threaten the Joker, but
they're just like, hey, look, it's this gun.
Yeah. And at this point, realistically, Joker's like, I have nothing left to live for.
Yeah, right?
I was only doing this heist before my wife and kid.
Yeah.
And
he does say that. He's like, what's the point? But then they're just like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You get us? Bye. And he's like,
it should have been a much scarier, in your face, throw you against a wall moment.
It should have been more like when the Joker shows up to shoot Barbara, and he's there with like his crazy
that was a great shot.
That was a great shot.
Yeah.
There are some tiny shining moments in here. And they are like, there's 2 of them.
There's 2.
And both of them involve with like his face in all shadows except for his eyes shining.
But and Mark Hamill is a fantastic voice actor.
Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
Except for when he's being Joker the human, because he has no emotion, but I feel like that's a director's choice.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, no, sound more like a sad sack. No, sound like you...
It was so unbelievably slow, and like they're trying to make you feel for the Joker, so when Batman's trying to redeem him in the end, you're like, oh, yes. But you don't feel...
Did you ever feel for him? Because I didn't.
No.
Because he didn't ever feel like he was a human. He never reacted like a human. If he even had more of a reaction when his wife died, I would have been like, maybe I'm starting to feel something for you. But he didn't. And that I blame the script. I don't blame anyone else. I blame the script for that because it didn't call for any emotion. No.
He literally was like, oh, sat down, wife died, woo.
Yeah. Ooh. Like, I can understand going into shock, but it didn't even feel like shock for me.
Yeah. I would want him to, like, be freaking out and, like, a little shaky.
Yeah.
And a little paranoid, like...
Something.
Give me something. That scene should have had more...
Or...
Give that scene a bigger budget. The Mafia guys should have been way scarier.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the Joker's like, I have nothing else to live for. They need to really threaten him.
You know what they should have done? They should have saved the budget from the sex scene and put it into that instead.
Hands down. There you go. Fix the thing.
In the budget, the animation for this movie is shit all around.
Yeah, and... Like, it probably got a lower budget. I think the budget was around $4 million. I won't swear by that, but that's what I've heard. About $4 million, which, again, in grand schemes of animated films usually have a budget of around $200 million. So this is a very, very, very small budget. And it was probably given such a small budget because it was going to be rated R. They weren't sure how many people were really going to watch it, but it did have a theatrical release. And this is one of the biggest...
This is, as a person who works in a comic book shop, people come in asking for, like, 2 comics. They come in for Death and Return of Superman, and they come in for Killing Joke. Those are the 2 that they ask for all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, Death in the Family, because it's another Joker story. We're constantly sold out of Killing Joke. Every day we get it in, we immediately sell out. Yeah. Like, that was before it was even a rumor that Killing Joke was going to be a movie. Mm-hmm. So, like...
The very infamous comic.
Yes, this is a very infamous comic, and with Suicide Squad coming out, the Joker's more popular than ever. Like...
Yeah.
This is something that, okay, if you're not going to put the money into it, don't fucking make it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Warner Brothers, you have the money. You can risk putting more money into this because you know that people are going to go see it.
Yeah.
People are going to buy this.
I'm just so surprised some of the...
The fact that, like, the King of Atlantis had a better animation, like, than this did is ridiculous to me.
There was just... there were some cringe-worthy moments of animation, like when she's running.
The run cycles.
The run cycles where she's barely moving, and like she would be going so much quicker than this inching.
There was 1,000 moments where the animation was terrible.
And I was a major in animation. I have like worked at animation companies. Like animation's what I essentially am trained and know a lot about. So I don't like talking bad about these teams because I know how hard everyone works. But there was times. Remember that butt shot of Barbara though? That nice bubble booty?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
Unnecessary. But I'm not going to blame the animation team because I am going to blame the budget, and then for that I'm going to blame the studio because Warner Brothers, you make money. You can put money into that if you want to.
I'm trying to. Oh, I thought that said I'm like Kevin, but then I realized it was
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy. And
Batman's
I'm looking at her note pages.
Yeah, my notes.
The notes that you've probably been hearing this whole time.
Yeah, sorry.
I had to slowly take it from her hand and
because I'm jittery. Because I'm upset.
Angry.
Before this movie released, because again, I work at a comic book store, when people talk to me about DC movies, I'm always like, you know what, I'm not a big fan of their live action movies, but DC always does a good job on their animated movies. Well,
hello, darkness, my old
statement
friend.
retracted. It was inexcusably bad.
Yeah.
Inexcusably.
Yep.
I do not understand what anyone was thinking. Who worked on it? Who wrote it?
I don't even know.
And I love Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. They made Batman the Animated Series, which is literally what I grew up on. Which was like my air, the air that I breathed as a child. That's words. It was my favorite thing growing up. Literally my favorite. I still look back on it and I'm like, oh, Batman the Animated Series was so good. I have a vinyl of the soundtrack. The theme song is my alarm tone. Like, I love Batman the Animated Series. And for us to get back, and this is why Kevin Conroy's in my notes, Kevin Conroy, Tara Strong, and Mark Hamill, getting them back together for a movie, it's like, a holy grail. And then it's a holy grail for a second shit. Inside that holy grail is just a whole bunch of poo.
Just a whole bunch of poo.
And it makes me so unhappy. Because even though I knew that The Killing Joke was never going to be a movie I, loved, because it's not a story that I super care about, because I don't like the Joker.
Yeah.
Because he's a villain. He's the ultimate villain. But still,
which again, to me, it was like, why are you trying to redeem the Joker, but you did not care about Barbara?
Yeah.
You saw Barbara in the hospital, and
you were just like, alright. Why are her brows not filming?
Yeah, random side note, when Barbara is in the hospital.
And her eyeliner's still on, but her eyebrows are gone.
Yeah, her eyebrows are just gone. Which, I'm like, it implies she fills them in, but, then they would still be reddish. They're gone. It feels like they shaved her eyebrows and put her and her lips are pale, which they should be. That's good. But her eyeliner, perfect.
Still on point. Still on fleek.
Can't have eyebrows, but...
Nope.
It was just weird. God. I mean, obviously, that is the least of my critiques.
I mean, it just goes back to talk about how bad the budget is and how bad the animation is. They're just
do they just not think about how makeup works?
They didn't think about a lot of things. I forgot the point that I was making before.
Something about how the Joker's the ultimate villain.
Oh, yeah, because he's the ultimate evil. He's just evil for evil's sake. And the theme of this movie is supposed to be the Joker proving that everyone has a breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end is supposed to be when James Gordon and Batman are like, no, look, we don't. We just went through all this traumatic stuff, and we didn't break. Except for that Batman did break, because he had sex with Barbara, so you're ruining the point of your movie.
And, I'm sure this is intentional, because, Batman does have that, moment where it's like, no, humans are strong, and then he laughs at the Joker's, joke at the end. So it's supposed to be, Batman's breaking a little bit, too, which in a way I can see. I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing with that, and that could be cool, but this whole last scene was so confusing to me that...
It was the weirdest love story I've ever seen.
It was so interesting and out of nowhere. And
it was so
weirdly, when you think back on it, you're like, it's so pining the whole time.
Yeah.
Between, specifically Batman to Joker.
Yeah. Where he's like, I need to save you. I need to we can be together.
Yeah. It's like our fates are intertwined. Either you will kill me or I will kill you. But I don't want to let that happen. We can work together. Like, it's...
Yeah, we can work together. And you're
which
like...
is usually a plot point that I really like. But the fact that it was so much directed towards Batman and Joker, and when they were trying to set up Barbara and Batman, but instead of actually having any important discussion, they're like, oh, they'll just have sex, so we don't need to have them have an emotional connection.
Yeah, they'll just
bone, and people would be like, that's all you need.
There. It's done. We did it.
There you go.
They're connected now.
So Barbara gets shot by the Joker.
Yes.
And that's where it gets,
that's where the movie sort of starts to redeem itself, but then
Barbara's just gone the rest of it.
Yeah, you never see her until the very, very end. And, like, I get it. But frustrated. It's a Joker story, but it's also a Batgirl story. So Joker isn't in it for the first half. Batgirl isn't in it for the second half.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But the fact that she's not mentioned, she's not brought up, Batman
That's
doesn't give
the
a
point.
shit.
I'm like, Batman does not super care about it.
He does not care.
So, like, the most disturbing, obviously, scene in the movie is Joker takes Gordon, or, like, James Gordon, Dad, and is trying to drive him to madness.
Yeah, trying to make him go crazy.
Trying to break him.
Singing this weird cartoony song that was straight out of Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is so campy. I think I even turned to you and was like, what am I supposed to feel right now?
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. And we could tell, like, in The Killing Joke, this is in the comic.
Yeah.
And it was something people... I mean, it's super disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
But I hate to be like, it makes sense.
But it does.
It's dark in a way that, like, it should... I don't want to say it should be, but
it does lend to the story. It does lend to what the Joker is.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate evil.
Mm-hmm.
And he had taken pictures of Barbara in her brutalized state.
Yeah. And
naked pictures of
her. You
her...
don't really know if he assaulted her at all.
Yeah.
I don't think he did in the comic, but it was sort of implied.
It's sort of implied here.
Just by the prostitutes is that he likes to...
Yeah, he does like to have a good time.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you're already gonna... I hate to say it like this, but if you're gonna put sex in your movie, you should have done it there instead of in the beginning with Batman and Barbara. Because that would drive home more that the Joker is fucking crazy and the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
You could have wrote in that he sexually assaulted her.
Yeah. Because it's potentially implied, but he may have just taken risque photos of her. And so, like, that's when Gordon is going through this, like, the mind game that Joker's putting him through is he makes Gordon look at all these photos, which is a very, very, very disturbing scene.
Especially while he's singing that stupid
song.
That stupid, like, popcorny
But at least,
song.
like, the feeling there was right. You're unbelievably uncomfortable. And
unbelievably.
At least I know what I'm supposed to feel right now, because there's so many other scenes where you don't know.
That was the only moment where I was like, I know what I'm supposed to feel now, and it is
unbelievably uncomfortable, and they sort of did that right.
Yeah.
Is that the word? I don't know.
Well, I mean, they conveyed the message that they were trying to convey, and that's literally the only time in the movie I think that they did that.
Yeah.
Because every other time I was like, I know what you want me to feel like, but I don't feel like that.
No.
And maybe you could say that was because I went into the movie with a negative mindset, but I doubt it. Because everyone who watched the movie beforehand was like, Megan, you're gonna hate it. You are going to hate it. Don't watch it.
I know. That's part of the reason why I'm like, I wish I hadn't watched it so biased, but I don't feel like I feel any differently.
No, I really don't.
Because I didn't know about a lot of these other stories that they were going to introduce.
I think that if I would have went into it completely blind, I would have thrown a fit. I think I would have screamed.
Yeah.
I think I would have gotten more angry. Because I've had time to already accept it and knew that it was coming, I was like, okay, here it is. Yeah, great. There it is.
It's exactly...
just as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I've already accepted it.
Yep.
So I think me going into it knowing what happened was for the best.
Yeah.
Personally.
I agree.
Definitely...
Sometimes that makes things easier.
I think my iPad would have been across the room.
Just thrown it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first even heard about it, I think it was on my laptop, and I audibly was like, what?
You were. I'm pretty sure I was in the living room and you were in your bedroom when you told me about it.
Like, what?
Yeah.
How was this a thing that they did? But yeah, Gordon goes through this, like, we'll finish up the movie, Gordon goes through this whole process where he kind of
gets a little broken, and Joker tries to convince him that Batman is just as, like, evil as he is in a way. Because he brutalizes and he doesn't care about...
he breaks the law all the time, and so Gordon is, like, naked and kind of a broken man when Batman finds him, but he's still sane.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? Batman, get the Joker.
He's like, where is my daughter? Is she alive?
Yeah. And Batman's like, she's alive.
Yeah. But just saw her. The police are on the way. I'll stay with you. And he's like, no. Go catch that guy. Buy the book. Because I want to show him that the system does work.
Mm-hmm. Which, at first, like...
At first you were upset about.
At first I was upset about, because I'm like, if I saw someone did that to my kid...
Yeah, no.
Mama Bear's coming out.
Yep.
Squeaky chair.
You would have went vengeance.
Yeah.
And
that's just who I am as a person.
I would have done the same thing, and that's why I like characters like Damian so much, where Bruce has to constantly be like, justice, not vengeance. Justice, not vengeance.
But then we're like, okay, but that Gordon's this character where he does...
Because Gordon is also he's very much like Batman in the justice, not vengeance. We need to do this by the rules. We need to make sure that we need to prove
that there's like these good people out there that do this. So I'm like, okay, I like it now.
I get it. Yeah,
I've recovered.
The second that like Batman was like, Jim Gordon's out there and he's not broken, you didn't win. He proved that your theory is wrong, and the Joker was like, what? And Courtney was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, okay, right. fine, I'm okay with it. Like,
See, that was not what I would have done. Thing that good. I'm like, I'm glad you explained this to me like a 4-year-old, because it took me a second.
Yeah.
But
that's just because you as a person.
Yeah.
No, I would have went and then been like, kill him. Fucking kill him.
Yeah,
Part of me is still like, Batman, you should have killed him.
Even though, like, if I was James Gordon, I'm like, I want to prove justice. And then I found out that he was trying to, like, convince him to come to the light side at the end, essentially.
Right? I'd be like, what?
No, we're arresting him.
Clinically insane.
Yeah.
You are trying to, like, rationalize to a person who is mentally insane.
Like,
you can't do that.
I love gray characters. The Joker is not one.
No, he is a chaotic evil character.
Yeah.
He's not like he's no neutral anywhere. He is chaotic evil. Boonk, boonk. Like right there.
And they have the moment where the Joker's like contemplating, and that final scene was just so weird.
No.
And I feel like it's trying to hit the heartstrings of people like me who love gray characters, but I'm like, the Joker's not one.
No. He's not.
You tried to give me this backstory, but I didn't care about the backstory because it was so slow.
And not humanizing
at all. Because I don't feel like he didn't care.
No. You didn't...
I didn't see him act in love with his wife.
No.
He just had, like, this sad life, and then when he found out his wife died, he was like, ho-hum.
He was like, well,
today's a rough day.
That seemed... it was very Eeyore.
Yeah.
It was so Eeyore the end.
Because I would have loved the insanity to even kind of start.
Me too, right there.
Yeah.
But no, instead it doesn't start till later.
Until the acid.
Until the acid, which, side note, why does that vat of acid lead straight into the water supply? Like,
Gotham's pretty fucked up, I guess.
I guess so. I guess they don't have any laws.
It's just no laws.
Gordon's like, laws, except for pollution. Who cares?
Who cares?
That toxic chemicals, they can just lead straight out into the... It's fine.
That's perfectly.
It's totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't... But back to the actual...
Yeah, but I mean, we're at nearly the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie, yeah.
And
besides where they show, like, where we sat there and we were like, what? That's the end? And then they have the little nod to Oracle at the end where she comes in and you're like, okay, well, this is Oracle's origins, but I
don't even know.
I don't.
Because, like, again, there's the part of the ending where I in not hindsight, but, like, thinking about it, I'm like, I would have potentially liked this if that whole last part was done differently, was the Batman laughing at the Joker's joke. Like, I could definitely, a part of me was like, alright, I could potentially see that as interesting, as, like, Batman's going this whole thing about how people are sane, and then the very last thing is him laughing at the Joker's joke, and you're like, oh.
Because it harkens back to when Barbara was like, I saw the abyss you were talking about, and I don't think that humans can avoid that forever. Because it harkens back to that. But it was just done so poorly.
So poorly. And I just wish he would have brought up Barbara at all in that final, when he's hunting down the Joker, because he didn't. He made it about him, which, I mean, they do have this rivalry, but it was very much focused on him when this story in general is kind of... They should have brought Barbara back into it.
They should have.
This is still Barbara and...
But instead, it's supposed to be a Barbara and a Joker story, and it came off more as Batman's weird obsession love story with the Joker, because even when he goes into the jail the first time to see the Joker, he's like, I need this. This is for me. I need to know that I had this conversation because our lives are intertwined, and I need to make sure that I need to have this conversation where I tell you that, you know, we don't have to do this, and why aren't you listening to me? Listen to me! Oh, you're not him.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he? Swear to me.
I could do Batman voice, but my Batman voice is just Yoda.
Yeah, it is.
Swear to me.
Swear to me.
Oh my god.
I can't do it. I can't, like, just do the grunt, because that voice still comes out anyway.
Swear to me, Courtney.
Anyway, is there anything last minute you want to add?
Just the sex shit.
Overall, just...
Bad. Just read the comic instead.
Like...
Just read the comic
I
instead.
can't even recommend the comic. I only know parts of it about it. I just... From the rumor mill.
Just read the comic instead.
It just...
It's
overall,
definitely not... Even the comic is definitely not one of my favorites. Yeah. But I won't...
Overall, there was, like, the obvious sexism. But,
Did that pack the Bechdel test?
Even that.
Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not.
Not even close.
Which, she didn't even pass that with, like, a male character. She was still always talking about getting boned.
Yeah.
And having sex.
Yep.
Which, sex positivity, I guess, but...
Which is totally fine. Definitely don't have a problem with characters having sex. Do have a problem with weird power play, like, emotionally abusive sex.
That... It doesn't make sense for Barbara Batman's characters in that sense.
It doesn't make sense for
because
either of their characters.
They also bring up the power play a lot. It is a part in this movie.
Yes.
If they were
they
equals,
completely ignore it.
Yeah, they completely ignore it.
He's like, no, we're not equals, but let's have sex. But don't idealize people, Barbara. He's just idealizing you, but let's have sex. And I'm Batman. This is my Kevin Connery voice, except for not at all.
I know, you could have just done your normal Batman voice. Much better.
Barbara, we're not equals.
Barbara. Can't.
You tried.
We're partners. We're not equals. Let's have sex.
Perfect.
But that's, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But, I mean, that in general, it's, like, one of my biggest flaws, but even said, it was still just boring for the most part.
Who directed? I just want to know who directed some of these scenes. Like, I could rant about this forever. The backstory parts were so boring. I got up and, like, walked away during one. Because I was like, I'm bored. I watched the Dark Knight trilogies and loved them.
Yeah.
And I love exposition. And I love backstories. Love it. Love it. But this, hated it.
Yeah.
Nobody felt real. Nobody in this entire movie felt real.
I didn't feel bad. You were supposed to feel bad for so many people. The only person I felt bad for was Gordon. Like,
yeah. And during... No, I guess I felt bad for Gordon. Gordon was portrayed pretty much right.
Yeah.
Like, when Barbara gets shot and he reacts in a human way, in a way that I believe Gordon would. And then when he sees Batman, the first thing he asks is where his daughter is, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then...
The second he's going through, like, the television room,
he's like,
I am terrified. Even before, like, those pictures come up, I'm terrified for him because I know what's coming.
Yeah, because I saw the screens and was like, oh, is he going to show him the pictures?
Like, and, like, I'm not even a parent, but just, like, putting myself in that mindset, like, freaks me out so much. And that's, like, the one part I'm like, okay, that tone was... right for what they wanted in this movie. The one time they actually managed to portray that right.
You know who is also the only other character that I feel was portrayed correctly? was
Colleen.
No, it was Alfred.
Oh, Alfred, yeah. Oh, I yelled Alfred really loud. Sorry.
Alfred and Gordon, the two old men, were the only characters that I was like, oh, this is right.
And Colleen. Don't forget about Colleen.
Yeah, you know what? Colleen was pretty spot on. She, was great.
Yep. Courtney for Colleen 2016. It rhymes.
It does. It does.
Just a great character.
Yeah. And
but yeah,
bad movie.
Slow moving, just character motivations. You don't know what to feel half the time. Batman cares way more about the Joker, and not even in a I want to hunt you down way, in a way that, like, I want to understand you kind of way.
I want to save you kind of way.
When, like, again, usually something I'm a sucker for, but
not this time.
Not this time at all.
The entire time you're like, Batman, why?
The Joker has never shown you a vulnerable side.
No. He's never been the Vader to your Luke.
No.
You've never seen the light in him. You can't. It's not there. So stop.
Yeah.
You need to lock him up.
And
throw away the key.
And I feel like that's what they're trying to do, but there's none of that backstory there. You never saw any of that hesitation there.
Yeah, no.
You only see this chaotic evil, and so they're trying to make you feel this emotion, and it's not going to be there because you never saw inklings of it. And they tried to with a backstory, but
it was directed poorly.
And
the character
it was boring, and you still never felt bad for him.
Yeah, no.
He was whiny, and then he wasn't even sad.
He was Eeyore the entire time.
Yep.
Oh, I lost my tail.
Ho hum.
Well...
It wasn't, yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But yeah.
But hey, that's just our opinion.
Yeah, let us know in the comments how you guys felt. I mean, obviously we're pretty clear.
We're pretty clear and biased, and, you know, that's us.
If you actually liked the movie and you made it this far, even though I don't know how anyone who liked the movie made it this far until us essentially trashing it.
Yeah. You know what? I would be very open to hear why you did, if you did.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll be open. I'll listen. Will I ever agree with you? Probably not. But it's fine. I'm open to other people's perspectives.
Yes, exactly. So please let us know down in the comments. We're going to do another giveaway.
Yes.
And this time...
I have a stack of comic books that I will be sending to whoever wants them. None of them are DC.
But a huge stack of comic books because we're reviewing comic book movies, so we're going to give you a bunch of comic books.
Random assortments. You'll have fun. If you don't like some of them, that's okay.
Yeah, it just gives you a chance to
maybe find something new, maybe find something good.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm getting a little biased here, but
So yeah, all you have to do to enter is comment below with what should they comment?
What should they comment? They should comment
who's your favorite Robin?
Sure.
But Robin wasn't in that movie.
Let's comment with who's your favorite Batgirl. Is it Stephanie? Is it Cass? Or is it Barbara?
Or, I guess no, she wasn't Batgirl. I was about to bring up. I hate her. Why can't I think of her name?
Carrie Kelly?
Yeah,
she's a Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Who's your favorite Batgirl?
Yes. Go do that in the comments below, and we'll let you know.
Continental U.S. only. Sorry again.
Yep.
Comic books are heavy. Books are heavy.
Yep. Apologies. We will have giveaways in the future of certain items that we will do overseas, but for now, continental U.S. So comment below, and we will let you know soon. Should we do a bonk, marry, kill?
Okay, bonk, marry, kill. Let's bonk, marry, kill. Let's do... Well, that's too easy. I was gonna say Barbara, Batman, and Joker, but that's...
But I mean, it's what we did, though.
Alright, well, absolutely gonna kill Joker, marry Barbara, and I guess fuck Batman.
Yeah.
I don't really want to fuck any of them.
That one's really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, quote-unquote easy in the way I'm like, I don't want to fuck any of them.
Yeah, I don't even want to... I definitely don't want to marry Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
So...
That just kind of
I guess I'm just gonna bonk him.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm not his sidekick, so I guess it would be fine.
It works.
I guess.
Yeah. Easy enough. Done.
Yeah,
yes,
simple.
be sure to make suggestions for those down below, too.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Because that one was sad.
Lots of us, but I think that... Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
If you've made it this
far. If you've made it this far.
Bless you.
Bless you. We keep trying to be like, let's make the podcast a half hour. And we're almost at an hour again.
You said that. I said a half an hour is too short. We are called the Knights of Rant, Courtney.
Not the Knights of short ramblings.
Yeah, not the Knights of let's keep this quick.
The Knights of let's keep this quick. I like that way better.
Okay, well, it's not gonna roll off the tongue, Courtney.
It does not. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and be sure to subscribe for more podcasts and other videos that we make on this channel.
Yes.
And
we'll see you guys
next time, or hear you guys next time. Sometimes we do video, sometimes we don't. This time we didn't, because we didn't want to put on makeup, but...
Hey, don't give away our secrets. We're beautiful right now.
Oh yeah, we're stunning. I'm not sweating through the shirt at all.
I know, me neither, because we definitely kept the air conditioning on.
Perfect. Anyway, bye guys.
Bye. Notes.